We could all say there's a bit of rebelliousness in our hearts. It's a consequence of concupiscence, that is, the resulting of original sin. And we're hearing in the scriptures today that the Lord is anxious to see within us that change. He's not so much concerned about the past sins. Tax collectors and prostitutes, by deciding to humble themselves and to follow the way of righteousness, are obtaining the forgiveness of their sins, according to what Jesus is saying in the Gospel of Matthew that we hear today. And it's surprising to the religious leaders, the chief priests and the elders of the people, because they may be saying yes to the Lord with their mouths, but then not doing anything to actually humble themselves to change. We see in our faith an interplay often between God's action and our action. Theologians have been stumped over it for centuries, so we won't be figuring this out this morning. But what we know is this: God responds to our goodwill, our initiatives of trying to draw close to Him. We hear in the first reading that the Lord is going to be changing and purifying the lips of His people, that the Lord's desire is to purify us, and that He wants to leave a humble remnant, those who are poor in spirit. And in our Catholic tradition, we have practices that help us to be poor in spirit. And those practices are prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. The fasting can be any kind of discipline that we choose to do. It could be going without the internet, or going without chocolate, or any other kind of discipline besides fasting. It could mean, there are some people who decide to wear different instruments of penance. This time of waiting for the coming of Christmas has traditionally been a time of penance, a time of reminding ourselves that the Lord is coming and that we are called to change our hearts, to change our lives. Typically, most of us have been praying a bit more during this time of Advent. But we might want to ask the Lord today to show us ways that we can discipline ourselves so that we can dispose ourselves to the grace of God. Some way, whether it's fasting, whether it's giving up certain TV shows or giving up certain internet sites, whatever it may be, that'll help us to walk in the way of holiness.